hitters against Gutierrez, hitting 139 on the year. Here is Isis Tresvik. As talented as she is with a bat, she is your starting pitcher today for Auburn. So Tresvik will try to set the table and help herself out before she steps into the circle. She hopes with a lead to work with.
Tresvik can do a little bit of it all. We saw her in right field yesterday. Coach Malvo quick to tell us that they had her throwing in practice just in case they needed her. Started doing pretty well. They needed some extra arms, so here she is starting to be a bigger part of the rotation.
When they've thrown her in practice as well as some during midweek, batters haven't been able to square up too well. She'll try to square up Gutierrez here. Shot to the left side, a Scott off the glove, and it will be an infield base hit for Tresvik. A good start for the Auburn Tigers. Get the leadoff batter on.
9 seconds and shortstop, number 13.
Gutierrez, an off-speed offering here, but right over the heart of the plate, and Tresvik pulls this hard down at Mia Scott. She almost is able to backhand that. Bounces a little too far away from her to be able to make a throw. Smartly just eats that one up.
Gives way to Nelia Peralta. Peralta had a 14-game on-base streak coming into this weekend here in Austin. Ultimately would go 0 for 3 in yesterday's shortened ball game. And already Gutierrez ahead in the count, 0-2. We saw Sitlali, a couple of appearances against Florida. It's a liner back to the glove of good. No chance to double off the runner Tresvik, but one away. So again, we saw Sitlali, the former state champion at Stanford High School here in Texas. The junior threw 3 innings in Gainesville, giving up a couple of earned runs. So even that stingy ERA she has was not immune to those Gator bats.
Well, you saw there just 5 games started, and when you're looking at a 29-2 record, that's not a lot of starts.
After the line out from Peralta, here is the dangerous bat of Annalie Adams. Adams, who had that walk-off game-winning home run back in the midweek matchup to snap Auburn's 10-game losing skid. The 2-0 to Adams.
Nikita Gutierrez is hitting some good spots, but she does mix 3 speeds. You saw that on the scouting report. She has an off-speed curve. She has a changeup. She's been elevating the ball a little bit more this year with a rise ball as well. But against these good offenses, she's going to have to locate both her hard stuff and her off speed. It can't be left over the plate or Auburn will be able to barrel that pitch up. Auburn not being fooled by the off speed right now. This a pitch up in the zone, but just over the plate. Adams absolutely demolishes that one. Katie Stewart thought she might be able to get that one off the wall, but that goes right over the fence in left field. You cannot miss over the wide of the plate to the Auburn Tigers.
6th home run of the season for Adams, her 2nd of the week now. And this one, a hot one up the middle. Good, able to handle it behind the bag. There's your 2nd out. So KK McCrary quickly retired. It'll give way to Anna Woolers, your 5-hole hitter with 2 outs and nobody on. That ERA for Gutierrez has now ticked up to 1.19. So we gave you some State of Iowa trivia yesterday.
What did we say, 170 miles apart?
About 2 hours, 40 minutes apart.
Texas giving Gutierrez the start. Needs to see her to start stronger. Same thing happened against Florida. Shaky early in the game. Does a really good job coming out of the pen. They have to be able to rely on her to start if she's a good matchup with the off speed. Did see Mac Morgan get starting nod against Florida. She's another arm that Texas can use, and they have used late in season especially last year on that run in Oklahoma City.
A 3-0 pitch here to Wohlers, and there will not be a 4-pitch walk. So Isis Tresvik began this ball game with that hot shot over to Mia Scott for an infield single. Tresvik, who will be your pitcher in the bottom half of this inning, is going to have at least a 2-run lead to work with. And Wohlers is going to have to stick around for a payoff pitch. Wohlers, who started her career at DePaul, had 2 home runs in that comeback on Wednesday, including a grand slam. That's a slow roller back to Gutierrez, able to recover, and there's your final out. Auburn brings 5 to the plate, 2 cross the plate, as Annalie Adams drives home Isis Tresvik, shooting this one over the left field wall. Tigers have their first lead of the... Not Atwood Mitchell, it just goes on and on.
Well, Reese Atwood now actually holds the career record with 179 career RBIs. She did that yesterday, but Ashton Maloney leading off, and she's only hitting .538 in conference play. No big deal.
Mike White's rolling the dice, putting her back in the lineup today.
Ashton Maloney, an incredible leadoff. Texas fans have seen her in the 9-hole for most of her career. Coach White, after about the first week or two, put her into the leadoff spot. Felt like she was setting the table well, getting on base, and they needed someone who got on base at a high clip up there in the 1 spot.
She got on base all 3 times yesterday as she faces yesterday's starting right fielder, Isis Tresvik. Started her career over at North Carolina A&T, the pride of Wilmington. Gets the nod in the circle today against these Texas Bats. Maloney will get it through. It's already her 3rd hit of the weekend. Consider the table set for Texas. Tying run will come to the plate in the form of Caden Henry. Let's dive a little deeper into today's starting pitcher for Auburn.
Well, Isis Tresvik, she is just a competitor. They like the way she competes. Obviously, she plays on all sides of the ball. The key is going to be her command, being able to, again, as we talked about on the flip side with Gutierrez, not leaving it over the white. Texas will make her pay if she does that. A lot of drop balls and changeups from the righty.
Caden Henry puts down the bunt, and if you do it right, that is not giving up a cheap out. Maloney down to second. The speed of Henry merits no throw from Wohlers, who really couldn't have done anything better than she already had. Best thing she did was just pocket that ball.
Caden Henry has a lot of speed, and she made that ball bounce and deaden just right there in front of the home plate. Wohlers came in, but she's going to have to make an on-the-run throw, off balance a little bit, and Caden Henry finds herself easily on base.
Mia Scott hit career doubles 49 and 50 yesterday. As you noted, one of just 2 Longhorns ever to amass 50-plus doubles in their career. If she finds a double here, it's probably going to be a tie ball game. So Maloney on second, Henry on first after consecutive hits against Tresvik. And Scott still flirting with squaring around as the corner infielders will have to keep pinching in. And you see Aubrey Lisenby in a pressure-filled situation like this is just going to run the ball back to her pitcher.
Well, Lisenby deals with the yips a little bit, but has figured out how to make sure plate's covered and get the ball to her pitcher rather quickly.
Scott waits for the 1-1 offering, will shoot it out to Smith. They are going to test the arm of Smith, and it's cut off. Wow, that probably should have been allowed to carry on to the third baseman. Wohlers need a little better communication out there. But it is Maloney down to third. Let's take a look how close it could have been.
Oh, Mia Scott puts a line drive charge in this one on a changeup, but Smith able to get over and grab it. Nice throw on the money. Peralta cuts that. I thought Ashton Maloney might actually be out. That was going to be a close play at third. As you said, Lincoln, though, miscommunication between Wohlers and Peralta for that to get cut. That could have been a big double play for Auburn.
Yeah, I know they were concerned with Henry going down to second base, but might as well let that throw continue. It was online. I do think Maloney probably was going to be there, but it was going to be close. So runner on third and runner on first. Here's Reese Atwood, 179 career RBI. Squares around a bunt, throw down to second. No tag, stolen base for Caden Henry, and that erases your traditional threat of a double play ball. My producer tells me that if Reese Atwood finds a RBI here, she's going to set a new mark and break the record currently held by, let me check, Reese Atwood.
Well, I have a feeling Auburn's not going to pitch to her, even though they just got a strike on that first pitch.
And because your catcher has to run the ball out to the pitcher, your first baseman at least knows she needs to cover home with a runner on third.
Well, Listenby won't go out there to toss the ball back until first baseman is down the line. Just a little bit of cardio, getting your steps in all across this infield.
We anticipate bases will be loaded here in a moment. We'll see if they do give Atwood another pitch over the plate. Jolie Mitchell's on deck. She and Katie Stewart this year have had the opportunities to protect Reese Atwood and try to make opposing pitchers regret giving the free pass to Atwood. And more often than not, Mitchell and Stewart have been able to come through.
Well, they only have 7 and 8 home runs respectively, each with 5 doubles. You know, they've driven in 26 and 46 runs. No big deal behind Reese Atwood.
And as expected, ball 4. Bases loaded for Texas. Maloney on third, Henry on second with their singles, and now the walk to Atwood with 1 out. All right, Jolie Mitchell hasn't hit a home run since the first inning of yesterday's ball game, when she and Atwood went back-to-back. Her second and final year in the Burnt Orange after coming over with an accomplished career at Notre Dame. Down by 2. So tying run on second base for the Longhorns. Go-ahead run on first with the Arkansas native at the plate.
Jolie Mitchell, you mentioned, came over from Notre Dame last year. And when you talk to the Texas staff, they talk about how much she is just the ultimate competitor, wants to win at everything, goes to all ends to try to win.
That one foul. Mike White thought about barehanding it.
And you see it in Jolie Mitchell's face, the intensity at which she approaches every at-bat, even when she's on defense. When she went in the portal, she had one place she wanted to go, and that was Texas. She wanted to be able to go somewhere where she was competing against the best and was going to be pushed to be her best.
The 1-1 to Mitchell with bases loaded. Over left side, chance for 2 for the Tigers. It will score a run for Texas. And part of me know they do get that third out. Your announcer lost track. The Tigers did not. It is a 2-run lead still intact. Chris and Kate Malveaux coming over from their most recent gigs at Tennessee and Knoxville, part of back-to-back SEC regular season crowns and that trip in 2023 to Oklahoma City. Of course, Chris is a Houston native, a graduate of A&M, so he's got his own supporter section here in the Lone Star State.
Chris Malveaux, known across the softball world as one of the hitting gurus, and you saw Tennessee's offense uptick when he got there. He did the same at Missouri prior to going to Tennessee, and he was the mastermind behind Louisiana's hitting prowess for a long time when he was there under Mike Lateef.
These two programs had only met twice before this weekend. Last time Auburn was in Austin was the 2012 regional. So we take a look at improvements this year under the new head coaches.
Batting average is up, OPS is up, runs per game is up, so Coach Malveau's influence already taking effect.
Amelia Leck into foul territory, coming in, just cannot make the catch, Ashton Maloney. So Leck will get to continue swinging the bat. Maloney makes it close with a great effort.
Ashton Maloney absolutely on the go, dead sprint. Deciding to 4-point as opposed to dive, so she has more control of her glove. Almost gets there, that falls just short. Great hustle by the right fielder.
2-2 to Leck, and she'll drop it in for a base hit, making the most of a second opportunity there. Back-to-back inning, the Tigers have a single to get things started. Third hit today for the Tigers. And a little over an inning against Gutierrez. Here's the opposing catcher. They're going to run for Leck. Every run vital, as it's going to be Georgia Lessman.
big thing I see from Auburn right now is they're not fooled by Gutierrez's off speed. Even though they might be out in front, they're able to control the barrel and get it there. They've poked 2 into left field that way. Gutierrez is going to have to be able to attack early and spread the zone, but also try to figure out how to make her off speed a little bit more deceptive here against the Tigers.
Aubrey Lisenby is one of the few Tigers remaining from the team that beat Texas a couple of years ago in Florida. She went 1 for 4 against Longhorn pitching in that victory for Auburn. Again, she's your starting catcher today, facing Gutierrez for the first time. Run on first, Lessman, the pinch runner. They're looking for insurance here in the top of the second after Auburn plated 2 in the first inning. And Lessman running for Leck, who singled a moment ago. Texas looking to return the favor. Good Bennett to Simmons as the base is wiped clean.
Gutierrez, a good pitch on the outer half, and Lisenby, rolls over that, but as you mentioned, good with the flip, and Bennett with a great throw to Simmons at first. Erases that leadoff single by Leck. Ground ball, double play, pitcher's best friend.
So Rose Roach thought she might have some teammates in front of her, comes up just trying to extend this inning. Tries to extend this inning with a bunt. Roach has been battling through some minor injuries throughout the year, but they can't keep her out of the lineup. Been so valuable to this team, not just what she does on the field, but a leader in her ability to help filter messages down to her teammates. But an 0-2 hole here against Gutierrez. And the 8-hole hitter able to lay off that one.
Good drop ball there by Gutierrez, trying to see if she can get Rose Roach to reach on the outer half. You mentioned the intangibles of Rose Roach, and when you're taking over a program as a new coach, you want somebody who has that role that can go ahead and be an extension of you.
Out of the glove of Simmons, Texas thought they were back in the dugout. So Roach puts a ball in play, forces Texas to execute, and extends this inning.
Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 20.
Well, this off the end of the bat, easy ground ball. Leanne Good goes on the run. Not a great throw, tailing down on Simmons, and Simmons just unable to come up with the pick.
They are charging the error to Simmons. As Abby Smith, we talked about some of these players inherited by the coaching staff who helped bridge that gap. Smith also in that conversation. Did not have a lot of playing time before the Malveaux showed up, but has stepped into an everyday role in center field. And of course, an Austin, Texas native, went to Bowie High School.
Did we look to see if there's Bowie red in the stands today?
I think with the sun out today, a lot of folks are going to be leaving Bowie Red. Hopefully multiple applications of sunscreen for this one. I mean, you look at that outfield wall, what a visual. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner will be going on contact. Rose Roach, who reached on the infield miscue. See if Abby Smith can get this back to Tresvik in the top of the order. She does. Oh, it's just foul by inches. When I say inches, 2.
Abby Smith moving through the box, a slapper, but she doesn't even finish the swing. Just tries to poke that in left field. That's on the left side of that line, as you mentioned, just by a few inches, but obviously far enough because Kate Malveau's right there too, and she was not arguing whatsoever.
Yeah, I tend to trust third base coaches more than first base coaches.
First base coaches call everyone
Everybody's
safe and everything's fair.
Yep. Coach Malveaux has a 9-hole hitter who hits better than 400. Smith fights that one off. And Smith batting .403 this year. Again, it was a 20-1 start for Auburn. They then lost 7 straight, along with 6 straight SEC games through their first 2 weekends, even though there were some tight battles along the way. They're hoping to find their first conference win here in Austin. And a payoff pitch that pays off. It's back-to-back Tigers that have reached with 2 outs. An error and now a walk. And Auburn has to be able to capitalize on every opportunity Texas gives them early. Mike White's going to have a chat now with our umpire, and that might be it for Citlali Gutierrez.
Citlali Gutierrez just not having the command today that Texas is used to seeing her have, both with her off speed and her hard stuff. The walk to Smith, not extremely competitive, but see Patty Ruth Taylor talking to Mac Morgan about the game plan coming in. Mac Morgan, an absolute bulldog for this Texas staff.
Morgan will inherit a couple of base runners with 2 outs and a 2-run deficit. Saw her in all 3 games, a little over 8 innings of work. There's a reason why. She's the first Texas pitcher to start 3 straight season openers since Blair Luna did it during her time here. The former Arizona State Sun Devil. Take a look at her scouting report, Cap.
Well, Mac Morgan throws a drop ball heavy both sides of the plate. She's added a curveball and a changeup, even will expand up with a little bit of a rise ball sometimes. But she's mainly going to attack with a drop ball, which induces a very high percentage of ground balls. She'll get some strikeouts, but the infield has to be ready to work when Mac Morgan takes the mound.
Isis Tresvik scored the first run of this ballgame last inning. Again, she is your pitcher today for Auburn. So still looking for more run support. See if she can come through with 2 outs facing Morgan.
There you see Morgan going right at Tresvik. She's not going to mess around. She's going to expand down and up. But she attacks the zone, and because of how hard she throws and her spin, it makes it hard for hitters to stay through that drop ball. So when we say heavy drop, it's not just because she throws hard. It's just a hard pitch for hitters to keep the barrel through, which induces a lot of the easy ground balls the infield gets.
Tresvik, the 3rd straight batter to come up with 2 outs. Texas thought they were out of the inning, but the ball out of the glove of Simmons kept things alive with Roach reaching. Abby Smith joined her after the walk. So Roach in scoring position, Smith 60 feet behind her. Only third base unoccupied.
As you said, push the envelope, but also tinker with things to see how much better they can make their athletes. On the offensive side, Texas just continues to get athletes that can hit well, but at the same time buy in to the little things.
Bottom of the 2nd inning, Auburn up by 2. Texas still bringing their lineup through for the first time, including Katie Stewart, who yesterday was 1 for 2 with a couple of runs batted in. Stewart, Simmons, and Good due up to face Isis Tresvik. So Auburn strands their first 2 base runners in the top half of this inning. Remember, Texas had bases loaded with 1 out in the first. They would strand 2 thanks to an inning-ending double play. Stewart, the preseason All-American, unable to lay off that one.
Haven't seen Tresvik throw that off-speed pitch a whole lot in the zone yet. That's going to be a key for her. If she can throw that in the strike zone, going to have to force Texas to respect both her drop ball and her changeup.
Count will even up. And Kate Malveaux, along with Riker Chasen back in the dugout for Auburn. Both of them very much defensive-minded, with apologies to the talented bats of Auburn. They entrust the pitching responsibilities to Riker Chasen and, of course, Kate Malveaux, the defensive guru.
And when you have a husband and wife that one's offensive minded, one's defensive minded, you go and get your first choice for a pitching coach.
Got the strikeout. Foul tipped into the glove of Lisenby.
After going 3 straight changeups away, Tresvik comes inside with a drop out of the zone, but Katie Stewart chases that. Lisenby able to hang on to that one. Big first out for Tresvik and Auburn.
Gives way to Katie Simmons. As this is the first half inning where the leadoff batter does not reach. Auburn's done it twice. Texas did in the first inning. Simmons yesterday 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. And it does not get easier as you get deeper into this lineup for Texas. Simmons a .278 hitter, and behind her a couple of individuals batting better than .340.
The Texas offense is consistent 1 through 9, not as deep as they were in 2024. But they can consistently put the bat on the ball.
A 3-0 count to the 7-hole hitter here. Scary moment last Saturday for Isis Tresvik. She was a base runner coming home a collision with the A&M catcher. Tresvik did score, but also was slow to get up, but it was great to see eventually was able to return to action. And nothing near as serious as perhaps we thought live. Next thing you know, she's facing number 2 Texas in the circle. Three-one offering to Simmons. Shot off the bat, but right into the glove of Peralta, 2 away.
Well, Texas is knocking at the door. They had runners on in the first inning. Simmons able to barrel this one up just right at Peralta. They just have to figure out a way to break through, but this pitch down, but over the plate. Simmons just missed extra bases by a couple inches.
From one shortstop to the other, here's Leanne Good at the plate for Texas. Her first chance to swing a bat here today. Leanne was officially 0 for 1 yesterday with an RBI and a run scored. Leanne's mom played for UTSA. I assume her mom, Shannon, knew not to wear the orange and blue today.
Mom's usually decked out in burnt orange. Leanne had the dream of coming to Texas for a long time, and as soon as that opportunity came to take her visit and commit, she did.
The Goods call San Antonio home. Leanne went to O'Connor High School. That's a school district where most of the high schools named after Supreme Court justices. 2 outs, nobody on. Texas trailing by 2 here in the bottom of the second. Wooler is able to handle one that finds her quickly. It is a 3-up, 3-down, though. A bit of a hiccup, it would appear, because she is back to her old form here in her senior campaign.
Have to imagine the resurgence with a new staff, a little bit more excitement. Plus, we talked about Chris Malvo and his offensive prowess. Did you see the extra base hits, OPS, all of it elevated for Peralta. We learned on our call with Coach Mike White that Peralta was originally in the recruiting mix for Texas as well.
We've already seen her with some nice defensive plays today. One of the best predictors of whether Auburn's going to win a game is whether Peralta gets a hit. When she does, they win 72% of those games. If she hits a home run, they win 82%. Yesterday, she was 0 for 3. She has lined out back in the first inning. That was against Citlali Gutierrez. Of course, Mac Morgan came in for the final out in the second inning. So first time Peralta sees Morgan. And we saw Mac in all 3 games, including 1 start in Gainesville. Just all business, the double nickel, whether she's a starter or coming in out of the bullpen.
You get Mac Morgan's best regardless of which role she's in, and she comes in with an intensity and a fire that she's in there to get a job done, and she's going to get the job done. Face doesn't change whether they're up by a lot or down. You like the way she attacks the zone and just keeps her presence in the circle.
Auburn Tiger leadoff hitters are 2 for 2 today. This one eats up Bennett, able to recover. Katie Bennett able to stay calm and get the out.
Designated player, number 14, Emily Adams.
And anytime you can keep the batter off the base paths before this woman, you've done yourself a great service. Of course, Annalee Adams, the 2-run home run, that has given Auburn its current advantage.
Adams seeing the ball extremely big. We talked about it in the open. She hit the the walk-off home run to win it in the midweek. 2-run home run so far here to give Auburn the only runs of this ball game. But the freshman, after not starting at the beginning of season, really making the most of her opportunities and now forcing Chris Malvo to have to keep her in the lineup.
Both of her hits this weekend, extra base hits. She has hit in 15 of the last 17 games for Auburn, and before that wasn't even in the lineup, wasn't even given a chance, but all of a sudden you don't have a choice but to, with ink, ride her into the lineup every day.
You see hitting over 450.
Opposite field, it'll get down in front of Maloney. As Adams, no extra base hit this time, but 2 for 2 today. Again, that is a freshman who doesn't look like a freshman. Nothing seems to get to her, no matter how big the stage is. And sometimes that can irk seniors, but we're told the seniors love her.
If you want to win, it doesn't matter who's in the lineup or on the field. If they're getting the job done, then you're going to live for it. And right now, Annalee Adams, that person. But you know the Auburn Tigers with Chris and Kate Malvo coming over and the passion they bring, they're just feeding off of that. So after a while, you just entrust they see things, and obviously you don't have to hope that anybody sees things with Annalee Adams. You just see what she's capable of doing.
Well, they did not run for Adams when she hit the home run back in the first inning, but they will bring in Womack, who is your starting right fielder, the flex today, as the pinch runner for Adams here with 1 out. KK McCrary, I think just saw 1 pitch back in the first inning when she lined one to Leanne Good.
Womack, transfer from Ole Miss, does have a little bit of speed.
(1-1) to McCrary. Count will go to her favor, 2-1. And KK started her career in Knoxville at Tennessee, grew up in Murfreesboro. Of course, that's right. A couple of little things all adding up for the Tigers there. Struggles in the corner and a ball out of the glove at home. Womack scores all the way from first, and now McCrary standing on third.
KK McCrary drives this inside pitch just right down the line past Mia Scott. She was off the line, so it was an opportunity to score. The throw home hits the runner, but that pinch running situation for Auburn pays off as they get their 3rd run of the game. Kate Malvo was waving Mania Womack home the whole time as soon as she saw that Katie Stewart bobbled the ball in left field.
So 2 runs in the first, already a insurance run here in the 3rd. Here's Wohlers, who grounded back to the pitcher her last time up. That was against Gutierrez. She sees Morgan for the first time. Back-to-back base hits against the reliever of Texas. Again, McCrary is your remaining base runner for Auburn, and it was a double for her, advancing on the throw home down to 3rd.
And heads up base running, knowing for her that they were going to have to try to make the tag play at home, just continue on to 3rd.
With a 2 spot up there here in the 3rd.
To be able to cut her down at home. So Bennett's range less on that play. Texas has to come up with a big out here, get themselves back in the dugout. Have 9-1-2 coming up and try to start to scratch away at this 4-run lead for the Tigers.
Love to see the smiles over there in that conversation with the co-head coaches. Some big moments. They're seeing their Tigers battle back after less than 24 hours ago. They were run ruled by this same number 2 Texas squad.
You know Auburn's feeling good. They've put up 4 runs. They chased Gutierrez already. They're getting to Mac Morgan. They're putting Texas in an uncomfortable situation.
Well, when you think of the people who've worn number 34 at Auburn, Bo Jackson, Charles Barkley, Amelia Leck. Leck already today a base hit, 1 for 1. That was the leadoff last inning. Has a chance to come up here and have another productive plate appearance.
You really do your research to figure out who wears what numbers, huh? My favorite out of that's Charles Barkley.
Well, I was going to ask you to choose your favorite, with apologies to the Leck family, apparently. Okay. Kat Osman, notorious number 38. And when she couldn't get that, settled for the number 8. What, 3 Olympics after a teammate took 8?
Yes.
In the red, white, and blue?
Yep.
Center fielder?
Yep, center fielder. Played at Alabama, Haley McClenny. I never even asked for it. I just went ahead and deferred and picked a new number. But Cal Ripken wore 8, by the way.
Kat Osman, famously a great shortstop and third baseman for the Baltimore Orioles. All right, 3 balls, 1 strike. Mac Morgan still needs 2 outs to get out of this 3rd inning. And Leck, I would say, gets to run the bases for a second time. They ran for her last inning. We'll see what they do here. And likely staying in the ball game.
I'd imagine they can't run for her again, or else she's done.
Yep.
It's too early in the ball game to replace her right now.
Woolers down to second. So that's 4 straight Tigers who have reached here in the 3rd inning after the first batter was retired. And we are going to see an adjustment from Auburn, but it won't be on the base paths. As Skylar Elkins, the junior, native of the Peach State, comes in to bat for Lisenby, who hit into that double play last inning. Boy, the Longhorns would welcome another one of those double play balls here.
The infield back now, and the double play depth, hoping that Elkins can hit a grounder. Either Bennett, good. Even Mia Scott can start off a double play. Mac Morgan fields her position well too, so ground ball back to her could end up being a double play as well.
That ball does not get far enough away from Reese Atwood.
A little pirouette down there. She's taking up tumbling in her spare time.
She and your daughter in the same class?
Yes.
A big cut. Strikeout for Mac Morgan after 4 straight Tigers had reached. And the pinch hitter goes down.
Well, pinch hitter Mac Morgan just continues to space off the plate a little bit as she's ahead in the count. That drop ball out, and you see Elkins reach, unable to reach that one. Big second out for Mac Morgan in Texas.
The Tigers still with a chance here with 2 outs. Rose Roach to do a little bit more damage. Remember last inning, Texas thought they had a 3-up, 3-down inning. Roach able to reach on the infield miscue. And eventually it would be a pitching change for Texas to bring on Mac Morgan for the final out. Woolers the runner on second. Leck on first, but right now Morgan can just dial in on Roach, the 8-hole hitter at the plate. Woolers comes home, and Rose Roach comes through with 2 outs.
Center fielder number 20.
This pitch on the outer, Katie Stewart was playing over towards the line, which allows Woolers to score easily. But that throw with no cut and just kind of into no man's land allows Auburn 2 more runners in scoring position. Texas really not looking sharp on any facet of the game right now. Pitching, they were off. Defensively, a couple miscues.
Yeah, all the things that were plaguing Auburn yesterday early in the ballgame defensively. Now it's changed course into the other dugout. So back to Abby Smith in the 9-hole. She walked last inning, was the last batter that Gutierrez faced before Morgan came on. You have 2 Tigers in scoring position. Mac Morgan and Longhorns just need 1 out. Put an end to this one.
Mac Morgan not hitting bad spots, but you can tell when her ball's not spinning and dropping as much. If she gets balls elevated and line shots, that's when people are able to get under her that drop ball and lift it. When her spin's tighter, that's when it rotates off the bat into a ground ball.
Right side, Bennett will take a breath, toss it to Simmons. Auburn will strand 2, but not before they add 3 more insurance runs.
Either.
Kevon went those 4 innings, and then was a spectator the rest of the way in the Texas win. Texas still has not seen all 9 of their batters come to the plate. That's about to be remedied here. Katie Bennett, the 9-hole hitter, coming up to face Tresvik. Yesterday's right fielder, today's starting pitcher for Auburn. And Tresvik right now with a 5-run lead against the Longhorns. Bennett yesterday 0 for 1 with a run scored. Not a lot of at-bats overall for the Texas lineup yesterday due to the shortened game. See what Bennett can do here with Maloney and Henry on deck and in the circle. And Lisenby did re-enter after they batted for her last half inning. And Bennett batting .343 this year. And not tempted by that one.
Bennett primarily a slapper. She's going to use some small ball bunt, but she can also power slap, so you'll see her hit to the gaps in the outfield. Good speed by the junior.
So a 3-1 count to the 9-hole hitter Bennett. Texas went in order last inning against Tresvik after they had bases loaded with 1 out at one point in the first. Only to strand 2. And not tempting for Bennett. It is a leadoff walk. Second free pass today allowed by Isis Tresvik.
Another opportunity for Texas, and they don't have to put up 5 runs in the bottom of the 3rd here. They just have to start chipping away. They have to find a way to make the most of every opportunity right now with Katie Bennett on, Ashton Maloney, Caden Henry, Mia Scott. All 4 of those can run. So if they put pressure on Auburn's defense, Texas should be able to cash in and make this a closer ball game.
I think that'll do it for the start for Tresvik. We'll see if she stays in the ball game elsewhere with that glove. As we are headed back to the top spot of the Texas lineup here in the 3rd inning. Longhorns trailing by high school up the road here in the Austin area. Former 2-time national champion in her time in Norman with Oklahoma.
I do know her well. I was fortunate to coach her last summer prior to going to Oklahoma. Left-handed pitcher. She'll throw a little bit of curve, rise, has a great changeup. Working on a little drop ball to tunnel with her curve.
Of Auburn's 21 wins, she's been a part of 18 of those games. Her 14 wins came into the weekend tied for number 1 in the nation. She also had 4 saves as well. She faces the top of the order for Texas with a runner on first. So Tresvik's line is not complete, but gives up just 2 hits in 2 innings of work. She is responsible for Bennett, the runner on first.
As we said, Texas hadn't scored, but they did barrel Tresvik up a little bit, so only going 1 time through the order. Have to imagine that might be the plan here in the next couple games.
Bunt down from Maloney, well played by Woolers. With a smooth transition from glove to hand. The sacrifice moves Bennett down to second.
Well, as we said, Texas just has to break through, and so Maloney moving Bennett into scoring position for Henry and Scott. But S.J. Guerin, after throwing only probably about 10 innings at Oklahoma, has come in. You see there, 95 and 2/3 innings already for Auburn in just her sophomore year.
Caden Henry shoots this one over towards the warning track, but Abby Smith able to track it down on the fly. 2 away. So Guerin, just a couple of pitches and a nice return on the investment, couple of outs. So you've got an Austin area native in the circle and an Austin area native out there in center field. Combining for the out, here's Mia Scott trying to do some 2-out damage. Mia lined out to Abby Smith in center back in the first. And fouls off that offering from the lefty.
You're talking about all the Austin area connections and going back to S.J. Guerin being in the circle. She played with Caden Henry. She played with Mia Scott's familiar with her, Leanne Good. So a lot of familiarity with Texas and S.J.
Where's her dad's old football number, 85? 0-2, Scott patiently able to pull it, but that'll do it. Texas will strand a third base runner today, and still.
Well, Ashley Chastain and Jerry Glasgow went head-to-head yesterday with South Carolina taking that first game of the series. But
when we showed that graphic yesterday, Jerry was the top line.
He was. But the Malvos doing an incredible job in year one at Auburn. But as we were talking about earlier, with Kate being defensive-minded, Chris being offensive-minded, they got Riker Chasen, who was their first option as a pitching coach.
Return to sender. Tresvik still is responsible for what could be the game-winning run if they combine for a shutout against Texas, but she will not have a chance to run the bases for a second time. Well, Morgan got the first out last inning. The second out was a bit more of a challenge. Peralta, this will carry out to right off the glove of Maloney, and it's been that kind of day defensively. Looking to take 3. The throw on line, but Nelia Peralta standing 60 feet away from giving Auburn their 6th run of the day. Everything we're seeing, balls bouncing in and out of the gloves, it's what we saw yesterday from Auburn, and all of a sudden it's contagious for Texas.
Yeah, Peralta going with this outside pitch with some power. Ashton Maloney giving good chase. It goes off of her glove, but it's that ricochet off the wall that allows Peralta to get all the way to third. Kate Malvo waving her on aggressively. Close play there, but Peralta in.
And I'm not saying those are easy plays to make. You're just hoping once it's on the glove, it's in the glove. It is a triple for Peralta. And that means one of the most productive bats Auburn's had this year comes back to the plate with a chance to do more damage. We're going to have a change in the circle for Texas. They are going to bring back Gutierrez. So she went 1 2/3, got all but the final out in that second inning. Since her departure, Auburn has grown the lead from 2-0 to 5-0. But again, Auburn looking for that elusive first win in the SEC. If you've been watching them this year, they've come very close these past 2 weekends, but they've been the ones who have had little things go against them, and it's snowballed in some innings. But you take a look how they started, then a 7-game skid, got back on track midweek, and again, looking to find an upset here today.
Well, they're no strangers to elite competition and playing ranked opponents. They went 6-0 in the Clearwater Invitational down there, and that's where everyone's eyes started to turn to the Tigers. You mentioned the 11 straight wins, but once everyone's eyes went to it is when they started going up and down. But as you mentioned, they are still looking for that first SEC win. But that number 2 being next to Texas is not something that causes Auburn to have any type of hesitation or doubt. They know they can play with the best.
So here is Annalie Adams. 2-run home run in the first inning. It was her pinch runner after her single in the third who would score. 1 of 3 runs last inning. Adams comes up with Peralta on third with 1 out. Auburn is still ranked in the coaches poll, sitting at 23rd. I have a feeling if they can find a win this weekend, might find themselves back in a few other top 25 polls. And Peralta, who had that triple. With 1 out, the 0-2 to Adams. And a floater over to the glove of Simmons, 2 away. That's a big out. First time Adams has been retired.
Big out for Gutierrez there in the fact that Adams was the 2-run home run hitter in the first innings. She gets put in to face that hitter first, able to settle down, get ahead of her.
How rare is that adjustment?
As a pitching coach, I don't know that I put somebody in to face the person that hit the home run off of them, but tip your hat. Coach White and Patty Ruth Taylor did something I'm not sure I would have the guts to do.
All right, here's KK McCrary. She had the RBI double last inning. That helped add to the lead for Auburn. Can they find a way to bring Peralta home before Texas secures the 3rd out here in the 4th? Third time through the order for Auburn. And your cleanup hitter, McCrary. And again, Atwood has to make sure everything stays in front of her.
And right now, Gutierrez came in attacking the zone against Adams, used the changeup, worked her curveball away. Has to be able to locate on both sides of the plate. You can't stay on one side against Auburn. They are too good of hitters.
2-2. Robert Gonzalez today's home plate umpire. Brian Crochet out at third. Keith Kearney, our first base umpire today for game 2. 2-2 offering with a runner on third. Will it hang up there long enough? It does. Katie Stewart comes in to make the diving snag and keep Auburn from adding to a 5-run lead. Texas looking for its first run production, perhaps no better source than Reese South.
A smart decision by Auburn to go ahead and intentionally walk her, load the bases. Gave them the easy ground ball double play that ended up ending the inning, taking the wind out of Texas sails. I think if Texas scores in that first inning, obviously this is a different ball game. They get some momentum, they get some energy. But right now, Auburn has had every answer anytime Texas has any type of opportunity.
So Guerin working with a 5-run lead. Look, Texas and their fans have every reason to believe that Texas can put up 5, 6, 7 runs in this ball game and come back, but you need some little things to go your way, and unlike yesterday, those little breaks are going the way of Auburn.
Right. The ground ball double play, they got Katie Bennett on with no outs in the last inning, unable to get her in. Right now, every move that Auburn has made has paid off. Pinch running, pitching change, all of it.
That home run yesterday for Atwood was her 12th on the year to lead Texas. Two and one.
You can tell Reese Atwood knows that S.J. Guerin throws a lot of off speed, so she's trying to be a little bit stronger in her legs, make sure she doesn't make that move to swing a little bit too early.
Two one from Guerin. They are trying to paint that outer edge of the plate.
Well, that last pitch looked like it might have nicked the corner, and you can see Guerin asking, kind of, where did that one miss? She does come from the left side, so tries to sweep it a little bit from off the plate to on that back corner. Sometimes a little harder to get the home plate umpire to see it come back all the way.
3 balls, 1 strike. Atwood, Mitchell, Stewart, the minimum 3 due up this inning to face S.J. Guerin. There's strike 2.
That's the pitch you have to be ready to hit. Guerin coming in with the curveball. That's as hard as she's going to throw. So if you don't want to have to fight off the changeup, you have to be ready for that inside pitch if you're a right-handed hitter.
Nearly half of Atwood's career hits have been extra base hits. Close to 80 of them now. This will be pulled foul. As the count stays, 3 balls, 2 strikes to the cleanup hitter for Texas, Reese Atwood. I've never felt this much tension in the air for an at-bat when a team is down by 5, and yet it seems like Atwood could tie it up if Guerin makes a mistake.
As anybody chases records, everyone holds their breath to see when the next one's going to fall. Are they going to be able to do it in one game, one weekend?
SJ had 6 strikeouts midweek in that comeback performance for Auburn. 3-2, big gap up the middle, and Atwood finds it. 3 out of 4 innings now. Texas has gotten its leadoff batter on. Can they find a way to bring Atwood home?
Well, after fouling off that pitch hard, Guerin goes with an off-speed pitch, and Reese Atwood knows it's coming. You see her stay in her legs. She might be out in front just a little bit with her upper body, but keeps the hands back, able to get the barrel there. Leadoff single for the junior.
So here's Jolie Mitchell, who went deep yesterday. Briefly showed bunt there. Again, Texas has not been working their way through their lineup very quickly today. That double play that she hit into back in the first was the last time she's had the bat in her hand. Just now coming up for a second time in the 4th inning.
She's just at her second time, and Auburn's already 4 hitters through their 3rd time through the lineup.
Yeah, neither Texas pitcher has gone more than 1 2/3 consecutive innings of work.
Just shows you the different offense approaches. Texas barreled a few balls up, unlucky in the first after the ground ball double play, but Auburn making the most of their opportunities and just continuing the momentum, passing the bat, having quality at bats throughout the lineup.
So Mitchell sneaks ahead in the count, 2-1. Atwood, your runner on first for Texas. Auburn scored 2 in the first, added 3 more last inning in the top of the 3rd. And wow, after some near misses, Lisenby did a good job apparently of framing that one.
That's a backdoor curve, trying to just get it to come back across the outside corner. And good location by Guerin, and as you mentioned, good job by Lisenby making sure that home plate ump saw that one.
So the 2-2 to Mitchell with a runner on. This will not be playable, straight back. And Mitchell in the 5 hole. You've got Katie Stewart on deck after she made that great catch out in left field. Again, the 2-2 offering from S.J. Guerin. And another souvenir ball straight back.
S.J. Guerin able to spin that ball incredibly well, so you'll see a lot of pop-ups when she is able to place it on that inner corner. Good curveball spin, good rise ball spin. Prior to going to college, her travel team called her Doc because she just carved people up with spin, and it wasn't strikeouts, but it was a lot of pop-ups and miss hits.
Mitchell underneath this. And left fielder McCrary comes in as center fielder Smith and shortstop Peralta were all converging on that ball, 1 away. Just what the doctor ordered. Little fly out to left. Speaking of left fielders, the catch Stewart made was a little bit more challenging last half inning. She struck out against Tresvik back in the 2nd. Her first time to see S.J. Guerin. Again, Guerin was a redshirt freshman, the first national championship team she was a part of at Oklahoma. That's when Oklahoma was three-peating. Then more active role last year. 1 on, 1 out for Texas.
Talked to pitching coach Riker Chasen, and he just praises on how hard S.J. Guerin's worked. Minimal innings at Oklahoma. Put herself in the transfer portal, wanted to find a place that she was going to be able to develop and throw. Riker Chasen loves to work with pitchers. Good spin, lefties, off speed. He loves it all to be able to mix and match. He said Guerin just came in, was willing to learn, ready to go. Chris Malvo, actually, great story, said she took a couple line shots off herself in team scrimmages, and after the second one, she stayed in. And after that, he's like, I'm not sure we barreled a ball up the rest of January off of her because she just decided, I'm over this, and got a little bit tougher and a little bit better.
When we say who Auburn wanted for that job, the list was one person. Stewart pulls this one foul. So Malvo's thrilled that Riker Chasen opting to join them at Auburn. Of course, the staff rounded out by DJ Sanders. Again, a leadoff single for Atwood. Fly out from Mitchell. Still 1 on, 1 out. The 2-2 again to Stewart. Count goes full.
I'm talking about the complete staff. Auburn has DJ Sanders. It's down there at Louisiana. Malvo's got to work with her there. She transferred and actually played for Mike White at Oregon. And got in the coaching ranks. She played professionally as well. An incredible hitter.
Payoff pitch. It may have hit Stewart. Either way, it's a free pass. Would have been ball 4. So Atwood finally nudged down to second. Another look.
S.J. Guerin trying to use that curveball, and it just gets in there. Nicks that elbow guard of Katie Stewart, but as you mentioned, would have been ball 4 anyways.
2 on for Texas with 1 out. This is where you need the bottom third of your order to come through, and Texas's lineup, more often than not, 7, 8, 9 have.
Katie Simmons, she barreled the ball up well her first at bat. Line shot right at Peralta. Leaping grab, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the line drive to Peralta back in the second inning. 15 RBI, looking to add to that tally here. With 2 on, 1 out for Texas, only third base unoccupied here in the 4th inning. Auburn hoping for another one of those double play balls. Texas had bases loaded back in the first with 1 out before the inning ender.
If you're a Texas fan, you're hoping Katie Simmons has a little bit of that magic she had in Gainesville, where she had 2 home runs in 1 game, seeing if she can lift the ball out of here.
Nice job by Lisenby there, but the pitch itself was off the mark. And S.J. Guerin, first pitcher out of the bullpen for Auburn today for the starter Tresvik, who's back to playing right field. And Simmons sees that one sneak in for strike 1.
As we mentioned, Guerin with a lot of off speed and hitters count. Floats that changeup in there. If you're Texas, you're going to have to pick. You're either going to sit curveball or you're going to sit changeup in a hitter's count. Either way, you have to figure out how to be on time and get your barrel out in front.
2-1 from Guerin. Blows it by her, 2-2. And Atwood on second, Stewart on first, singled and walked respectively with a fly out from Mitchell sandwiched in between. Guerin looking for that second out here. And they'll do it again with the count at 2-2. First time we ever saw Katie Simmons here at McCombs Field was actually playing for a state championship when she won it all for Atascocita. They're in 6A, biggest classification in the Lone Star State. That's always a fun time of year. especially for those seniors, oftentimes they're getting their diplomas at home plate from their head coach / superintendent of those small school districts. And Simmons watches strike 3 go by, finding the inside edge of the plate. Guerin with her first K of the day against a Texas hitter.
After working outside and change up, Guerin locates this well at the knees. Katie Simmons not expecting it on the inner half. Goes down looking.
Riker Chase is going to go talk to Guerin before Leanne Good has a chance to come to the plate. With 2 outs and 2 on, Auburn has a chance to again get out of another tough spot here. With a 5-run lead intact, they are out hitting Texas 8-3. This is the Texas offense that, for good reason, we've been talking about.
And there you see top 10 entering the weekend for a number of offensive categories. Gonna have to chip away to keep some of those ranks here in this series.
Again, Guerin came in that 3rd inning after Trespik went 2 complete. So first time she sees Leanne Good here in the 8th spot. Good, a ground out to the left side, back in the 2nd. It's a well-hit ball. Again, one of the many plays that could sum up today's game. Auburn smokes one over to 3rd, too hot to handle for the talented Mia Scott. Texas smokes one to 3rd. Woolers happens to be able to handle it, throw it across the diamond for out number 3 in the 2nd. And all of a sudden, Goods in an 0-2 hole.
Good. Takes one on the outer half, takes one on the inner half. Have to figure out which side of the plate are you sitting. Because Guerin just gave you one of each. You did not flinch. Guerin in the driver's seat.
Texas has had their leadoff batter reach in 3 of these 4 innings. They stranded that base runner in the 1st and last inning. They're hoping to avoid a repeat of that with Atwood standing there at 2nd after her leadoff single. Stewart behind her at 1st after her walk at the time with 1 out. And Good goes with it, foul.
Leanne Good, extremely familiar with S.J. Guerin. Both played on the Texas Bombers together.
Once you commit for those club teams, you got the college logos on your sleeve, one for Oklahoma, one for Texas.
You do. We had a couple for both schools, actually.
1-2 in on the handle of Good.
You see Kate Malvo trying to direct the defense. Riker Chasen calling in the pitches. Riker Chasen wore the USA uniform, played in the junior men's program for USA softball. Pitcher in his own right. Inside pitch, she tucks that right inside the foul pole. She knew off the bat.
8-hole hitter with her 5th home run of the year. That gives way to Katie Bennett. Texas, who had left 3 base runners on in the first 3 innings, brings home 3 here in the 4th. Back within striking distance. And Bennett led off last inning with a walk, only to be left in scoring position.
Guerin going right back to work. 2 curveballs to Bennett. This is where Texas has to learn from each other. The best pitch, hard pitch that Guerin has is that curveball. So if I'm Katie Bennett, I'm going up there expecting it away, trying to drive left center. Home run off the bat of Leanne Good. Traveled 233 feet, 74 miles an hour. Exit velocity off the bat.
Moments ago, a 3-run home run from Leanne Good. As Katie Bennett just trying to extend this 4th inning. See if she can't add some pitches to that arm of S.J. Guerin. Poor Guerin and the Tigers can get back to the dugout.
Continuing to fight off that outer half. Now just going to have to make sure she's on time. Guerin can change speed. She can also elevate.
Boy, Bennett had enough time to probably think about it 3 or 4 occasions whether she was going to pull the trigger on a swing. Again, Guerin was your Class 5A District 26 Player of the Year here in the Austin area for Leander High School. Nobody on for Texas with 2 outs. 9-hole hitter Katie Bennett. This should do it. Wooler, we get lots of great access to coaches, and Monday is always a fun game to tune into when you hear the SEC coaches mic'd up for the home team. It's Coach Weekly this upcoming week with Tennessee. As a quick ball shot back to Citlali Gutierrez, who again made the start, was pulled in the second inning, then returned last inning in relief. Auburn with the first-year head coach duo of Chris Malveaux and Kate Malveaux. Of course, we were talking about the Weeklies. You know all about the husband and wife dynamic. There they were a few years ago at the NFCA Hall of Fame banquet.
And I see Karen and Ralph Weekly. They were so long the co-head coaches at Tennessee. Ralph stepped down, which ultimately led to Chris Malveaux getting hired there at Tennessee, having that assistant coach opening. But Ralph still obviously being around the program.
Here's Amelia Leck after Wooler's grounded back to the pitcher. Leck has reached base both times she's come up in the second and the third inning. Officially 1 for 1 today. Well, I would say that 3-run inning for Texas got the crowd back in it, but they've been in it the whole time.
Well, the crowd, the faithful here at McCombs Field, stay loud and proud for quite a bit. Although they're starting to get like some of the other faithful fan bases where if your team's offense doesn't get going, there's a lot of grumbling and you'll hear some not as nice yells from fans out there.
One ball, 2 strikes. Again, Gutierrez back in the circle. Got the start today, went 1 2/3, gave way to Mac Morgan, who went 1 2/3 before Gutierrez was asked to come in and face the batter who went deep against her early in this game, Adams. She got the line out, retiring Adams last inning. And Leck not tempted to offer her bat at that one.
Gutierrez adding her rise ball back in her arsenal this year. Focused more on her drop ball and down in the zone first 2 years.
Payoff pitch. Got her. First strikeout today for Gutierrez.
She elevated out of the zone, but then goes right back to a high pitch. This on the outer half. Much better rise ball, better location. Good swing and miss induced by Gutierrez.
It's the first time today that Auburn's not been able to get one of their first 2 batters on in an inning. And Lisenby did not bat her last time she was due up after grounding into a double play in the second. Her pinch hitter, Skylar Elkins, struck out in the third against Mac Morgan. Lisenby immediately re-entering defensively. And Lisenby was bearing the brunt from the fans who were really more just distraught by the lack of the offense for Texas, but that lead for Auburn was looming up there on the board, and each time they felt like Lisenby was making them just suffer a little bit longer when she was running every pitch back out to the pitcher.
I think as fans you don't realize sometimes what every athlete's going through, and it's different. Instead of being a little bit more understanding, attack it.
A lot of aspiring umpires were ready to give Gutierrez her second straight strikeout victim.
Good pitch. Flirted with the edge of the zone there. But I will tell you, McCombs has a lot of aspiring umpires. They have for a long time.
But there used to be a pitcher who made it pretty easy on umpires.
Well, when you get them to swing, it's pretty easy to point and say, yes, she went.
Count stays at 1-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on for Auburn. Their lead right now at 2. And Lisenby feeling confident. Of course, she has seen that strike zone all day as she's been behind the plate as the catcher for Auburn.
That pitch over the plate. Just a little low, I'm going to assume.
I'll pull this one foul. When was the first time you pointed? This is after I had Kennedy in Waco last weekend with her stomp.
It started, I think, here in college. It was more I point to the catcher.
Right.
Like it's, giving props to my battery mate there. I don't remember doing it a whole lot in high school. I don't know that we have too many high school pictures with me pointing. Even her first All-American, Nikki Cockrell, was here.
That's Hall of Famer Connie Clark.
Excuse me, Hall of Famer Connie Clark. That is the new title to Coach Clark. But yes, Alumni Day keeps getting a little bit bigger and bigger every single year, and Coach White came out to the alumni tailgate before the game to say hi to some former players. Some he's met before, some he's meeting for the first time, but they're doing a good job of trying to bridge that gap between Coach Clark's alum and obviously the alum that Coach White himself now has established here at Texas.
I think he was also inquiring about remaining eligibility.
If he could find some, he definitely would probably try to pull it out of all of us.
All right, Mike White is seeing his lineup come up just now for a third time here in the 5th inning. Top spot of the order, Ashton Maloney. A sac bunt her last time up is 1 for 1 with a single in the first. She was the first batter to face S.J. Guerin back in the 3rd when she executed that bunt. That ball hit Maloney. Was she out of the box is going to be the question. Well, at the moment, they're inclined to say it did not hit her. I thought from our vantage point, which can be deceiving at times. We'll get another look. Right now, she is safe, even after making a turn in towards the field.
Well, this ball definitely has some spin. What it hits.
I thought it hit that left arm, but I've been wrong, and now the umpires are coming together. So if they determine it does hit her, then the question is she out of the box?
I think it for sure hits her out of the box if it does.
Ruling currently is that it did not and that she's safe. And now that official ruling will be relayed to Chris Malveaux, and he will have a choice, and I have a feeling he's going to ask them to review it, and he has indicated that. There are some times from our vantage point, which is a good one, but as high up as we are, I've been convinced I saw something. Well, they relayed that they're more talking about a foul ball, which would mean she was in the box, but is she still in the box when this ball hits her?
Okay, here she goes.
Yes.
Oh, she might be, yeah. Yeah, she's definitely, if that hits her, that is still in the box for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in the box.
She had a big lean, but both those feet were still in the box. So instead of it going from a hit to an out, it'll just be simply a foul ball. Yeah. Now, that has not been relayed to us just yet, but we imagine that's the conclusion they'll reach.
The interesting part is nobody called foul ball. So while they're saying they're challenging the ruling of foul ball, I didn't see any umpire actually signal foul ball. Now, I don't know if when they talked amongst themselves, they decided first base or third base saw that it did hit her in the box.
Yeah, I think in reality, we were relayed. It was stated over the microphone by our umpire that they were challenging a foul ball, but again, the call was a fair ball. And Again, the reason why no umpires left the field in the SEC, it is reviewed off-site once conference play is underway. So they are just waiting for it to be relayed to them through their earpieces. And again, we think Ashton Maloney will be headed back to the batter's box if they determine that ball did in fact hit her shoulder.
That's third base umpire Brian Crochet waiting in for the relay in.
Maloney, when she went through first, took a turn in towards the field. If she'd been tagged out, this would be Mike White insisting it was a foul ball.
Yeah, well, the other part of turning in is you have to turn to actually make a move to second. And so many people think just because you turn to your left that automatically you're in the field of play.
And so the folks in Birmingham are taking a look and relaying this. Non-conference play, this would be done on site.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
All right, so they think they saw some daylight, or at the very least did not have a conclusive look that it did 100% hit the shoulder of Maloney. So Maloney is on with her second hit of the day. So Caden Henry comes up, one on, nobody out. Tying run at the plate for Texas. Puts down the bunt, only plays at first. They do get Henry. Well done by Leck, charging up and firing a strike over to Roach at first. The second successful bunt for Henry today, this time the sacrifice.
Yeah, sack for Henry, but almost got herself on as well.
Well, you've got a runner on second, and you've got someone who's very productive, bringing folks home from scoring position. Mia Scott coming up, 2 doubles yesterday. Just about as good as it gets when it comes to extra base hits for Texas. Well, the nice thing about Lisenby running that ball out, it buys us time to brag on both Mia and some of her teammates still active.
Yeah, a lot of times when you look at that, you'll go just on who's finished. So when Mia Scott finishes here, she'll be up there with Janae Jefferson, and obviously her teammates going to have to continue their streak behind her as well.
Scott grounds out number 2. That moves Maloney down to third. And Reese Atwood, again, a decision to be made here. They intentionally walked her in the first. Had the single last inning and scored on the 3-run home run from Leanne Good.
You just saw Lisenby stand up, put her fist out. They're not going to give Reese Atwood anything close. You see Leck right up there at first to cover home.
So again, with Amelia Leck, you think, well, if they're going to intentionally walk her, why are you still charging up from first base? But this is why, because she still has to cover home, because your catcher is going to abandon home plate each time to walk it back to her pitcher. Otherwise, as a corner infielder, you can take this at bat off. Now what Atwood should look at is when they walk her, is if she can just jog on over to second base, if they remember to cover the bag. It'll be the
other part of an intentional walk, and a lot of times even if your catcher doesn't have the yips and have to walk the pitcher out, the first baseman will be up close in case a ball gets by the catcher. She's there to cover home plate quicker than your pitcher, since you know you're intentionally walking her. So a lot of times you'll see that first baseman up there that close as well.
With 2 outs, second intentional walk of the game for Atwood. And it's Jolie Mitchell who can try to take that personally. Tying run is on base for Texas, with Reese Atwood joining Maloney. Jolie Mitchell 0 for 2 today, grounded into a double play in the first with bases loaded, a fly out to left last inning. And she faces S.J. Guerin for a second time. And don't think Texas will take any unnecessary risks with the base runner right now and take the bat out of the hands of Mitchell.
Not an extreme opportunity where I would see a first and third while Ashton Maloney can break and possibly score. Reese Atwood, she can run for herself, but not someone I'd be wanting to get in a rundown to try to force the fourth run of this game. Not when Jolie Mitchell can change the game with one swing of the bat the way she did last night.
3 of Texas's 5 hits have come these last 2 innings, including the single that has Maloney on third right now, and tying run on first, Atwood after the walk. Mitchell, a line, is it fair or foul? Over the wall, left of the pole.
Mitchell displays the power there, just a little bit out in front, pulls that too far. Have to imagine that Auburn and Guerin gonna work some off speed here now in this 1-2 count, see if they can get Mitchell to chase.
The pause was because Amelia Leck had to tie her shoe. Good to go here. This should be the third out. If it stays playable, it won't. That started to drift. Texas finally scored 3 runs last inning, looking to erase the remaining 2-run deficit here with runners on third and first, but with 2 outs. Jolie Mitchell battling with S.J. Guerin. Again, the 1-2. And it was unlikely anything was going to come of that. Nobody was holding Atwood on at first.
Well, nobody was holding Atwood. Listenby almost vacated home plate. That's really all Texas trying to do there. See if they can get Auburn out of rotation.
Again, runners going on contact. Atwood was halfway to third by the time that ball finally died down in foul territory. And she was intentionally walked once again with 2 outs a moment ago. Oh, the veteran. The game just slowing down for Jolie Mitchell.
Well, Auburn went into a really deep infield with how hard Jolie is, just slow enough that she can get down the line. Jolie Mitchell runs pretty well, so she beats that out. RBI infield single for the senior.
So Katie Stewart, who's already flashed some leather today, with a chance to add to her RBI numbers. She is right there with her teammate, among the top 5 in the nation this year. Atwood on second, Mitchell behind her at first. Only third base unoccupied. All this now with 2 outs. Texas did not need to bat in the bottom of the 5th yesterday.
Big swing by Katie Stewart there. S.J. Guerin continuing to use the outer half. Force Katie Stewart go opposite field.
Sixth batter this inning, 6th batter in the lineup for Texas, Katie Stewart. Again, Texas has had their leadoff batter reach in all but 1 inning today. In the last 2 innings, those batters have had a chance to come home and score finally. As we saw Maloney score the first run here in the 5th. Stewart will foul that off herself. S.J. Guerin came in after Isis Tresvik got the start for the first 2+ innings. Guerin did not see action yesterday. There was an inning where we saw just about the entire Auburn pitching staff except for Tresvik and Guerin. The 1-2 to Stewart.
Tresvik only saw the lineup one time through. That was pretty much looked like Auburn's plan. Let her get through the first 9 and then hand the ball off. Almost a opener type situation versus starter and relief. A lot of teams going to that type of mentality.
Waited on it, but Tresvik will be able to squeeze it in. Texas will strand 2, but Jolie Mitchell.
Okay, so she's going to have a pretty good loose arm coming in today. Won't be too tired.
That's a pretty well-worn path that Reese Atwood is taking from home plate to the rubber and back. Tresvik, the minimum 3 due up to face Gutierrez. 4-pitch walk to Rose Roach, on base for a 3rd time today. Well, we've talked about the SEC from top to bottom. You take a look at, in terms of strength of schedule in the RPI, where these teams are. In the top 25, 12 of them call the SEC home. And that will officially do it for the day of Sitlali. And we'll step aside before we reintroduce you to the woman who got the start yesterday for Texas. It's a 1-run ball game here in Austin.
Oh, pizza! We're trapped by dishes.
Don't worry, they've got new Dawn Power Suds. It'll power through this whole pile with ease.
Yeah, it's the dish soap with 2 times more powerful suds.
Lucky ducks.
Dawn's first suds that trap, lock, and remove 99% of grease.
So it doesn't get passed from dish to dish.
Ooh, clean and stacked.
Like ducks in a row.
Good one.
New Dawn Power Suds, the better grease getter.
Febreze. Do you love your plugins but wish you had more control of the scent? Introducing the new Febreze Plug Scent Booster. Enjoy the same 50 days of continuous scent as Febreze Plug with added features for more control. Including a cord for flexible placement options, 3 intensity settings with the ability to turn it off, and a boost button for extra scent whenever you want. For long-lasting scent you can control. New Febreze Plug Scent Booster.
Well, Tegan Caban got the Friday start, went 4 innings before she got to sit back as a spectator the rest of the way, striking out 6 Tigers. It was shut them down. It was not a combined shutout, as the Tigers would find 2 in the top of the 5th before the ball game was called for the run rule. We figured we'd see Tegan tomorrow, but she will come in to try to keep this just a 1-run ball game.
Tegan Caban only gave up 2 hits, a double and a single, so only 2 base runners yesterday. One of those was Abby Smith, though.
Smith tries to put down the bunt on the first pitch of the ball game from Cavan. A moment ago, Rose Roach with the 4-pitch walk. So Auburn hoping they can manufacture at least 1 insurance run after a 5-run lead has dwindled down to 1. Smith a walk in the 2nd and a ground out in the 3rd. The 3rd different Texas pitcher she has seen today.
Well, Cavan does a really good job of being able to nibble at the corners, and between Brian Crochet yesterday and now Robert Gonzalez today, they're going to make her have to split that corner in half.
Reese Atwood throwing down behind the runner Roach. Mia Scott playing about halfway down the line just in case Smith were to square around, and that bunt is a little less likely now.
We did see Texas go to the 5 infielders yesterday. They brought Katie Stewart in, actually, with a runner on, not going to the slap defense today.
Count will stay in 2-2 after that one's fouled off. Runner on first for Auburn with nobody out. A little half swing. As Roach has to hold it first, Simmons able to squeeze it in, out number one. That's going to bring up the individual still in line to be your winning pitcher. Well, I say that only went a couple of innings, but Isis Tresvik got the start today for Auburn, trying to help lead them to a win. Now offensively,
Tresvik did have a deep fly ball off of Tegan Kavan yesterday to right field in her first at bat. Struck out in her second at bat against Kavan.
Singleton scored back in the first, came home on that two-run home run from Adams, the standout freshman. Since then, a strikeout and a line out right back to the pitcher. That was Mac Morgan at the time. This will just get far enough away from Atwood to allow Roach to move into scoring position for a third time today. Roach has been stranded on second twice, as her teammates have not been able to bring the 8-hole hitter home.
Trying to use that changeup, just slips out, and Reese Atwood trying to keep it in front, but ricochets too far from her.
We saw Kavan strike out 18 Texas Tech batters in a 9-inning classic earlier this season. That's Kavan with a K.
Well, after that missed changeup, Kavan gets her outside, but then gets her to chase up. We didn't see her expand way up in the zone quite as much yesterday. Auburn was aggressive early in the count against her. But a big second out of Isis Tresvik there.
Remember, Peralta shot one out towards right. Off the glove of Maloney, it would be a triple for Nelia, and yet somehow her teammates were not able to bring her home with 2 outs to work with back in the 4th inning. That's the closest Auburn's been to finding a 6th run here today. And right now just guessing.
Kavan threw first pitch changeup to Isis Tresvik, which showed that she had command of that pitch. Yesterday, that was a little bit of her downfall early, was just the command of her off-speed pitch. But right now, just absolutely carving up Auburn with that changeup.
So Kavan came in with a runner on first. Roach has since moved to second, but 2 outs later, she's got a 1-2 count on Peralta. Texas will have the bottom third of its order coming up, including Leanne Good. Runner on second for the Tigers, looking for insurance, but with 2 outs.
Peralta trying to waste that changeup. He's whipped at it twice in this at-bat. Kavan trying to get strike 3 there with it.
Got her. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tegan Kavan. Comes on in relief with a runner on for Auburn. Retires the 3 batters she faces. Among the batters due up for Texas, Leanne Good with the 3-run blast back in the 4th inning to perhaps spark a comeback. Kavan's come on to try to keep the Auburn bats at bay. In a hurry.
Leanne Good with the left field line. We mentioned in that at-bat, Leanne Good, S.J. Guerin, teammates for a long time in travel ball, so there is familiarity there.
But first, Katie Simmons comes up as representing the tying run for Texas. This will be pulled foul. Somebody needs to make sure those foul poles were put in the right spot.
And your Texas, you might want them shifted over a little bit. And Katie Simmons aggressive on that first pitch inside. That's the pitch she was rung up on. She got caught looking in that 4th inning. on that curveball inside, showing Auburn and Guerin that she's ready for it this time.
Yeah, line out and strikeout today. The strikeout against Guerin, who's still in the circle in relief, one of just 2 pitchers used by Auburn so far. Texas down to their final 6 outs. But it did some heavy lifting with 3 runs in the 4th and another one last inning. The 1-1 from Guerin.
Guerin trying to paint the corner with that changeup. One thing I do like about S.J. Guerin is she doesn't get phased. So even though she gave up 3 runs in the 4th, she was able to settle down, again giving up a run in the 5th, but she's able to settle down and get herself out of that with runners.
Today that Auburn has kept the leadoff batter for Texas off the bases. And all of a sudden, Texas with 5 outs. All that's guaranteed to them in this ball game for a comeback. So last time Leanne came up, she had 2 teammates on with 2 outs.
Listenby trying to make that changeup look really good. I thought that was a good spot. Sometimes, though, a catcher can move and try to frame it too much.
One out, nobody on.
Because of the home run, Auburn trying to give Leanne Good a good dose of off speed. Just missing a little bit low, a little bit out.
And S.J. Guerin, 14 wins, tied for the Division I lead coming into this week. Also 4 saves. Those 18 games are 18 of the 21 wins this year for Auburn. Things really clicked for her in January. And again, when she was growing up here in Central Texas, went to one of the best. I won't have Kat immediately start talking as if she knows that cues her up, but I'll ask you more directly. Kat, just take us through working with her when she was growing up.
Well, S.J. Guerin's just a workhorse, and her mom, don't get me wrong, taught her pitching growing up. Her mom was a pitching coach at Tulsa, actually recruited me when I was starting my recruiting process. But as soon as I became a coach in the travel ball circuit, S.J. was very eager to come down, drove down to New Braunfels where I'm at, and we worked quite a few times on just being able to add a drop ball to her mix, fine-tune her curveball. But she's a workhorse. She likes to work. She likes to learn. She wants to know why things are the way they are, and it's just a fun athlete to work with.
And 3 balls, 1 strike here to Good in this prolonged plate appearance with 1 out.
The one piece I didn't say is, despite the demeanor, she doesn't show a lot of passion, even when she gets a big out, but she is competitive. There are so many times coaching her that she just wanted something to be a little bit different, figure out how to be a little bit better the next inning out or the next time she faced a certain hitter. But I have a lot of love for the lefty.
3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on. Again, Simmons grounded out to lead off this inning. Leanne Good, and a battle here with Guerin. After pulling one for the home run back in the 4th. There you two are, reunited.
Yeah, she came over, gave me a hug before alumni stuff started. Got to see her last year here as well when OU came into town, but always nice to give her a little squeeze.
The payoff pitch. And a free pass. Well earned by Leanne Good. How many graphics did we get through during that plate appearance for Leanne Good against S.J. Guerin?
Yeah, Leanne Good made her work. But you know they were going to be careful. She saw S.J. Guerin really well in her last at-bat. Tip your hat to Good, laying off those changeups because some of them were really close.
So again, the tying run is on base for Texas with 1 out. 9-hole hitter due up, Katie Bennett with the top of the order right behind her. Bennett today a walk and a foul out so far. Bennett looking to tie up the ball game. They'll hold the runner at third. There's no, Bennett now is going to try to help Texas manufacture that tying run. Everything going the way of the Burnt Orange. Katie Bennett knew what she was doing, creating a pickle where there wasn't one initially. 2 on for Texas.
Well, Katie Bennett aggressive on the first pitch. Guerin threw her first pitch strikes her last at bat. Leanne Good, seeing how deep that was, did not miss a beat rounding. And originally there was not anybody behind Katie Bennett. So when she rounded first wide, looked like she was going to be able to have second base. But Leanne Good deked Leck over there as well, leading off third. She had to make sure that she wasn't going to run home. But Texas in business here with 2 on. Great base running by the Longhorns right there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, there is nobody covering first, so Bennett can easily get back if she wanted to. She did not want to.
No, she did not want. She wanted to try to create the rundown to see if they could get Leanne Good home, but Leck did sneak in behind her because she was not there originally. But again, you tip your hat. Leanne Good able to take a hard lead to force Leck to have to turn to her, allowing Bennett to safely scamper to second.
Tying run 60 feet away. Right there on your screen, Leanne Good. Potential lead for Texas right behind her. In the last road win versus a top 2 team came back in 2017 for Auburn. Texas's last loss to an unranked team. Auburn ranked in some polls. And Ashton Maloney, 2 singles today and a sac bunt. Scored the lone run last inning to pull it within a run. And no traditional threat of a double play ball this time to get Auburn out of a jam.
Ashton Maloney, extremely hard out, especially once she gets to 2 strikes. Coach Mike White says sometimes he thinks she likes to get to 2 strikes just so she sees more pitches. And right now, Texas going to look for her to have to put it through the infield. A ground out isn't going to work right now unless it's at an angle to which Auburn doesn't have a play at home.
And Maloney 2 for 2 today on deck. It's Henry 1 for 2 today. Got Good on third, Bennett on second with just 1 out. 1-2 offering from Guerin. Won't be playable. Back to the bullpen for Texas. Again, Auburn has the potent bat of Annalie Adams set to lead things off in the top of the 7th. Will they still have a lead at that time? Two and 2.
The advantage for Texas right now is the fact they've made Guerin throw 85 pitches. They're getting deeper in counts in this inning. There's not anything left that they haven't seen from Guerin, so it's a matter of picking which pitch. If it's in the zone, being able to barrel it up.
Well, bloop into the glove and almost a chance to turn around for a double play from Anna Woolers, but they will welcome that second out here in the 6th inning.
Again, after trying to go a lot away and Ashton Maloney fouling it off, she goes inside, a jam job, and Woolers climbs the ladder a little bit to get that one If that was hit any harder, that might have been a double play on good over there at third, but it floated just enough. She was able to get back.
Caden Henry's executed 2 bunts already in this ball game. That's not the game plan here. She bunted for a base hit back in the first, a sacrifice last inning.
Henry could still bunt to get herself on, but you know right now if you're Coach White, you have an athlete of Henry's capabilities. She can easily get herself single, double.
Bases loaded. Are they saying that hit the knob of the bat? Okay.
That hit the knob.
I thought it was a direct hit on the elbow from our angle. It just tells us how deceptive sometimes it can be from up here, but clearly it was on the knob.
This comes in and, yeah, right there just nicks the knob. Nothing Caden Henry can do. Tough luck as a hitter. Now facing an 0-2 count, gonna have to figure out how to shorten up, drive in these 2 runs for Texas.
Tying run 60 feet away. No.
Mississippi wanted the swing there. While Henry's hands went, the barrel of the bat did not.
And Leanne Good on third, Bennett and second. But with the line out a moment ago from Maloney.
Upset and defeated the Oklahoma Sooners 3-1. Big win there. Last undefeated team in NCAA softball Division I goes down in Columbia, Missouri.
Here's Annalie Adams, 2-run home run back in the first. 2 for 3 today. Tegan Kavan coming in relief, retiring all 3 batters she faced last inning, a pop out and a couple of strikeouts. Just trying to keep it a 1-run ball game. Texas would hope to try to walk it off in the 7th. Texas has trailed ever since that top of the first when Auburn scored 2. And this will get down. 3rd hit today for Adams, her 4th of the weekend against Texas pitching.
Annalie Adams absolutely seeing the ball well, and it doesn't matter how hard or not, she's finding the holes. Obviously cleared the fence her first at bat today, but has been able to poke one to right, and now just lifts that one right over good at shortstop. Obviously Auburn would like to extend this lead a little bit if they can.
See if they run for Adams over on first. I think that's the reason for a brief delay here. Obviously that's a critical run, trying to find some insurance. And it will be Talia Martin making her 2nd appearance this weekend. So the sophomore hoping to come around before the end of the top of the 7th. Of course, the Longhorns are down to their final 3 outs. Whenever the bottom of the 7th comes up, what will the deficit be? Here's your cleanup hitter, KK McCrary. 1 for 3 today. A couple of lineouts with an RBI double sandwich in between back in the 3rd inning.
On yesterday, a line out to shortstop off Kavan and a strikeout looking.
Her first time to see Kavan today.
We saw Kavan get both Tresvik and Peralta to chase up above their head, trying to do that there to McCrary. A little bit more patient here in this inning.
And a great bounce back for Auburn today. Jumped out to an early lead after just finding 2 runs late yesterday. A big hat from McCrary, 2-2. Pinch runner Martin after the leadoff single from Adams. And McCrary just protecting against anything close.
Kavan trying to elevate on the outer half there. Just a little bit too much plate to allow McCrary to get a piece of it.
Well, it was Auburn who erased that 5-run deficit against South Alabama midweek. Texas trying to do it here today. Two balls, two strikes. Gavon to McCrary. We'll see if we have any softballs left for a bottom of the 7th.
McCrary continuing to hang tough there on the outer half. We saw a changeup get wasted. Another pitch a little bit up in the zone there. Have to wonder if Tegan Gavon will come in and up above the head the way she did to Peralta.
This will carry into foul territory, and ultimately Stewart had to slam on the brakes before she ran into the wall.
Thought Stewart might have a shot at that, but it just kept taking an angle towards the wall.
Over to second. Bennett to good. Simmons, double play.
Ground ball double play. The pitcher's best friend, an off-speed pitch from Tegan Gavon. McCrary, hard grounder to Bennett. She relays that to Good, who turns it on. Good with such a strong arm. That's where Texas doesn't miss a beat this year at shortstop with Vivi Martinez being out. Leanne Good able to turn the back half of that double play to Katie Simmons.
So now nobody on for Wohlers. And the first pitch strike from Gavon.
It's two ground ball double plays for Texas today.
Yeah, it's Auburn who came into this weekend number 2 in the conference and 10th in the nation with 17 double plays turned. Obviously, they got a big one earlier this game, did Auburn, when bases were loaded for Texas. Gavon trying to get the Longhorn bats back to the plate. Wohlers not going chasing for that one.
Gavon tried to go the 3 changeups in a row. Got one looking, one swinging, and that last one just a little low. Might be my favorite pitch sequence when you can get somebody with 3 off-speed pitches.
Third strikeout in relief for Gavon over the past 2 innings. Texas
and Texas bats start to come alive. They're going to have to look 2 in the 6th in scoring position.
Yeah, both teams scoreless in that 6th inning. As Texas with Scott, Atwood, Mitchell, 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. They're a combined 2 for 7 today. S.J. Guerin, 3 outs away from what would be a big 22nd win for Auburn this year and their first win in conference.
Mia Scott, uncharacteristically 0 for 3 today. Her first at bat was a line out to center field, a hard hit ball. But since then, Auburn been able to get her to just roll over to second base. Needs to have a strong at bat here. Obviously, getting herself on base sets Texas up nicely.
And a 2-0 advantage now for Mia Scott.
Guerin trying to quietly keep working. Not quite sure where that last pitch missed. That was definitely over the plate. But still trying to give a healthy dose of off-speed pitches to Texas here.
And Scott just waiting for that first strike, and there it is. And we did not see a 7th inning, nor did we see a 6th inning yesterday. But here we are, bottom of the 7th. And Scott 0 for 3 today. Ooh.
Curveball just nicks the corner there. Mia Scott gonna have to work now with 2 strikes.
Nice job by Guerin battling back. The 2-2 from S.J. Guerin. We'll do it again. Texas trying to win its second straight SEC weekend series after taking the first 2 games against Florida and then dropping the Monday matchup. Auburn's already playing their 3rd weekend, looking for their first victory in conference play. And Scott out towards left, and McCrary is there. Longhorns are down to their final 2 outs today.
S.J. Guerin continuing to use that spin, get that pop up. Jammed Mia Scott just enough.
Reese Atwood has been intentionally walked twice today. Sandwiched a single and a run scored in between. Of course, went deep yesterday. Let's see how inclined they are to pitch to her. If they put her on, of course, obviously that would mean the winning run would come to the plate in the form of Jolie Mitchell.
I have to assume that Riker Chasen's going to be careful, but not necessarily put Reese Atwood on for free. Texas hasn't run for her yet, so they do have that capability still. They also may hope that she gets a little overly aggressive, gets herself out. Big swing there.
The aforementioned Riker Chasen will go out, talk to his pitcher. Just make sure everybody's on the same page. And Mia Scott lined out to left for the first out this inning. Texas only 2 guaranteed outs remaining in this ball game. They've trimmed a 5-run deficit down to 1. Reese Atwood, your home run leader for Texas, obviously capable of tying up this game on her own. #179 RBI in her career.
Situations like this are where Reese Atwood has to understand the pressure is not for her to hit a home run. It's just to find her way on base.
This one's foul.
Well, she can't hit a home run and tie this game up for herself. That's not what Texas is asking her to do. It's just a matter of get on base. Expecting the inside pitch, she's ready for it. Just a little bit ahead and gets around that. She knew it. She knew that was the pitch she was looking for. She just was not on time to keep that one fair.
I believe she said foul.
She definitely said foul.
2-2.
It's what every hitter says when they miss-hit a ball. They just say foul.
Bottom of the 7th. Longhorns 4 runs on 7 hits. S.J. Guerin, the only pitcher Auburn's needed in relief after the start from Isis Tresvik. And Atwood not doing any favors there.
Well, now here's the game within the game. S.J. Guerin, 3-2 count. She's been throwing her changeup well. Does she throw that to Reese Atwood? Do they try to go inside again? Reese Atwood was looking for it.
The payoff pitch to Atwood. She'll walk for a 3rd time today. She is your tying run on first base now.
Designated player, Jolie Mitchell.
Jolie Mitchell finally broke through today against S.J. Guerin with the RBI single back in the 5th. That pulled Texas within 1. Tying run on first. If Jolie Mitchell scores this inning, it's likely walking it off for the ball game.
Guerin trying to use a lot of change-ups here. Saw her walk Reese Atwood on that, just low and out. Low and out to Jolie Mitchell. That is the pitch Jolie Mitchell hit to Peralta for the infield single. Peralta is playing a little bit more in on the infield this at-bat against Jolie Mitchell.
That'll even up the count. Texas 29-2 on the year, 3-1 in conference. Their first year in the SEC. As Mitchell will inch back ahead in the count, 2-1.
Kieran keeps trying to challenge these right-handed hitters with that curveball inside. Gotta love that even though she's not getting it called for a strike, she continues to try to hammer that part of the plate, see if she can get. Reese Atwood gets to third base, but Coach White smartly holding her up. Peralta had that ball too quickly for Reese Atwood to score. Atwood actually had to hold up right as she rounded second. McCurry looked like she might make a diving play out there in the gap.
Auburn still with a 1-run edge over the number 2 team in the country. And Katie Stewart coming to the plate with Atwood and Mitchell on. Stewart scored on that home run from Good back in the 4th after she had walked. It's the one time she's had a chance to run the bases today.
Coach White gonna pinch run here. Imagine for Jolie Mitchell.
Pinch runner is going to be Adea Wallace, and let's see which base she's headed to.
Oh no, she's gonna run for Reese Atwood. Well, I thought he might do that when she was at first base, but I think he was gonna wait until Reese was in scoring position to put Adea Wallace in. Right now, all Katie Stewart has to try to do is hit a hard ground ball. As long as it's not right at Guerin herself or Woolers at third base, Wallace is gonna be able to scamper home with the speed she has.
Mind you, a wild pitch, a pass ball, a variety of ways that Wallace could consider coming home.
Rough day for Katie Stewart, but she absolutely makes up for it with that swing.